current form is basically sort of like this ant farm form of globalization, right? The U.S., all around the world, global trade is so deeply interconnected, and BRICS is sort of like an experiment to see if that can occur outside of the U.S. dollar's purview. But again, this is a Mexican standoff, right? There's no clear strategy for an individual country to achieve victory over the dollar in the absence of cooperation, of which there is none. Of course, it's still in its infant stages, but as of right now, this is the terrain, right? And a lot of this video is extremely contrarian. But again, we want to give it to you how it is, and we want to tell you the reality that the United States dollar is king, and chances are it'll stay that way for quite some time. Every major international currency throughout history has been issued by a political democracy of some kind, right? And a basket of currencies backed by commodities, in our view, like BRICS is proposing and China is proposing, and China and Russia are sort of subliminally imposing that through purchasing gold reserves and sort of pseudo backing their currency with a hard money. In our view, it's not a suitable replacement using history as our judge. Nor are the ruble and renminbi, because of their issue stringent capital controls, as spoken about previously. Now, we do view Bitcoin as a sensible alternative as a base layer reserve asset that'll achieve adoption as an international settlement rail over the next several decades. We've written several articles about that over at thebitcoinlayer.substack.com, which is our primary source for all of our markets research. We also have this YouTube channel to put some of that in video format like we're doing today. But we've spoken about this several times. And through the years, Bitcoin as a settlement layer has improved, settling last year over $8 trillion processed by the Bitcoin network last year. Obviously, that doesn't hold a candle to other monetary networks, Visa or let alone SWIFT. But again, it's growing exponentially year after year. And with technologies like the Lightning Network, that's proliferating even further. And that's why we talk about it so ardently. We talk about traditional finance because it's important to know what is going on in macro. And today we're talking about global currency regimes because Bitcoin exists in a universe of other assets and other factors. And that's why we talk about it. And that's why we want you to understand it. But also, Bitcoin is readily monetizing in the background. And this is one of the areas that Bitcoin really shines. Any dollar replacement would also need to be large and liquid enough that its daily fluctuations, obviously due to trade settlement, aren't disruptive to the nation's economic activity. And thanks to the dollar, otherwise the issuing nation would back away from the role of being the world reserve currency, the primary world settlement currency. And today, the US dollar is the only currency that fits the bill, right? Relaxed capital controls, a persistent current account deficit, and a large enough liquidity profile to weather volatility storms while keeping critical financial plumbing intact. The dollar is the only thing that has those three things.